Still July 29th, 2020. I want to give everybody a, this would be like 1A, I guess you can call it. Just a little bit more background information on the Torus field, at least what I know about it. So, in the previous video, if you haven't watched it yet, what we covered is the ether is the ocean of the universe. We live in ether. Always has, always will. When you're in this physical reality, you are in ether, because that's what creates the physical reality. It's a vibration that is it's all energy, but it moves like an ocean. It's like a viscous fluid, near zero viscosity. So it's so thin, so, think like when you're in water, you can move your hand and move some water. Then go to the air, you can move your hand and move some air. Or then go down another one, move your hand and move some ether. So it's like that. It's like go from liquid to gaseous to ether. There's levels. That's how this whole universe works. So it's just another level, a lighter level, or less viscous level of what we would call water or energy. Because water is energy too, everything is. So you have the ether. That's the basis of everything. You have literally the spoken word, the thought. It's not, in the last video I said the spoken word. When the Bible says, let there be light, God said, let there be light. So God's voice literally spoke and vibrated the ether, the waters. But it's not just his voice. Your thoughts create ripples. Your emotions create ripples. So it's actually, when you hear about it, they say the mind of God. Whether God actually spoke or God thought, I don't say he, it's God. There is no masculine and feminine. It's unity. They're both in one, in harmony. The infinite potential of vibration, the highest frequency you can go. So it could be a thought or it could be a spoken word. It does not have to be one or the other, but all spoken word comes from thought to begin with. So if you want to get to the root of things, like what I like doing, I like to get to the base level. Thought would be the base level. The thought of God. God's thinking, the act of thinking that he all does, created the ether, which then vibrated the ether, which then created matter. Okay? So, when you have this torus field, you say, okay, well, how do we get from there to matter? What is that? Well, that is the combination of masculine outward force, inward pulling feminine, and then they create a magnetic field around it, around the torus. And then that magnetic field, as it's circulating, undulating, it's creating a spin. Everything's got a spin, a vibration. It's a dance. So this, what you're seeing here, is around here, around here. So they're not part of the big. They're inside of the big magnetic field. So think of the Earth. You'd have the Earth, the core, what we're taught. Mainstream teaches what the Earth looks like. Whether that's accurate or not is another video up for debate. But what they tell us is you have the magnetic field around the Earth. Then you have the center of the Earth, the core. The magnetic field leaves the top and bottom, creates this magnetic field. And then in the middle is the actual rock. Water, the matter, the solid matter. Well, they were telling you the truth without telling you the truth. Subconscious, conscious, this is how they play it. This right here, this is actually spinning. This is a disc circulating around this jet. So this jet, energy going in and coming back out, is actually like a sine wave. Think DNA, sine waves. So when this is happening, it's undulating, it's creating what they call an accretion disk, or the dielectric plane is a better way to put it. So it's literally a plane of ether being coagulated by these opposing forces, circulating around and circulating themselves. And then as you do that, as you spin and charge and spin, the ether actually creates density. It gets dense, it clumps together, it gets thicker, concentrated, slows down the vibration. And when you have that, you get matter, or like Terra, Earth. That would be the Earth, and that's the magnetic field. As above, so below, as within, so without. Everything inside your body works like everything outside your body. Everything outside your body works as inside your body. God makes things this way. We are all God. We make things this way. And again, when I say that, I don't mean that it's just us doing it. We are all one. God is doing it. All of us doing it. So by doing this, it's creating this matter with a field around it. Now, this dielectric plane, this accretion disk, I link it to the Earth, I said, but also another thing in mainstream that we're taught, look at a spiral galaxy, the Milky Way. What is the Milky Way galaxy? I mean, if I drew the Milky Way galaxy, I'll draw it like this. From the top down or bottom up, that would be the view. So this would be the center. And literally you're looking at the accretion disk. So you're looking at this disk from up above. So you'd be looking from up here down on this disk, or down here looking up at the disk. But that spiral, the Milky Way galaxy that we're taught is where we live, and all spiral galaxies, because you've never seen a picture of the Milky Way obviously, but you see pictures of other spiral pinwheel galaxies. That is literally this. The dielectric plane. It's where matter is coagulating, slowing down, forming. And when you have that, this disk, if I drew it on an angle like this, so you'd see it from the side, you would see jets leaving and entering. And what they tell us is there's a black hole in the middle in science. Black holes, that's another video, but it's all the same. So what they're saying is a black hole in the middle is actually, think of your bathtub drain. Going down, draining down the drain. But in space, you don't have gravity pulling the water down. You have different forces of gravity. It's not just up and down. It's cyclical. It's around you. So you have jets going up and down, and this is spinning. And that, what they call a black hole, or the 0 point, or the Z pinch, is just the center of that spiral, that charge. Think of like a tornado or a hurricane. So with this, we have a magnetic field around here, around the dielectric plane, or the spiral galaxy. And that's literally how our planets, our galaxies, and our atoms work, our cells, our everything. That's how everything works. So atomism, this study of everything being particles just bumping around randomly, it's flawed, because number one, they ignore where all that comes from, and number two, it's not being expressed, I think, in the proper way, a way that sheds light on what's really going on behind the scenes. Where's this stuff come from? Instead, they like to use, I was just watching a video of a brilliant man today, Ken Wheeler, talking about they use just ghost particles, phantom particles. Or they'll say dark matter, or for the ether, they'll call it dark matter, or they'll call it quantum foam. There's little names they use to keep you looking over there instead of looking at what is really going on. Steinmetz, Tesla, all the guys who understood electricity and our universe, they all said this. This is what they said. But people like Einstein and the mainstream, I don't want to call it mainstream, it's mainstream now, but it wasn't up until now. Before, the whole world thought, knew this. And in the last 100, 150, maybe 200 years now, we've been taught the manipulation. Because then you could be manipulated because you don't know that you have the power of God. God bestows that power upon you to use it properly or improperly, and then your karmic bank account dictates how you live. So you have infinite power to go infinitely positive, healthy, good, or in harmony, and then your karma will dictate that. You just have abundance and keep flowering and growing. Or you can be on the opposite side of that, and you know that happens there. So, again, to recap from the last video, it doesn't have to be a spoken word, God said this. It could have been a thought. It actually was a thought first, and then if it was a word, it was spoken. So, the vibration of the ether creates matter, creates a torus field, which creates an accretion disk or a dielectric plane of matter. That matter is the same as what the spiral galaxies are. It's what the Earth is. It's what every cell is. It's what they call atoms are. And atoms, again, I don't disagree with the fact that there are particles, dense. There's matter. But again, that's not what they started off as. They started off as energy vibrating until it took shape by masculine and feminine forces structuring it into matter. And that's how all of this works. So, we'll leave it at that for now. That's a good 1A video. I think good place to end. We'll get into some more fancy stuff later. Have a good one, everyone.